Good afternoon. Markets have just closed here on Wednesday, the 4th of April. It was a very volatile day today. We started off the day reacting to some back and forth statements made between China and the U.S. with regard to trade sanctions and tariffs. China specifically mentioned that they were going to start charging tariffs of 25% on U.S. soybeans, and that began a very large sell-off across the board in everything, although some markets did stabilize and come back toward the end of the day, and some markets did not. But soybeans were the specific market that really seemed to spook everyone early. Some of the markets that did better than others, crude oil did not sell off that much, although earlier it was down quite a bit. Also, early indicators in the stock indexes had the Dow Jones down almost 500 this morning. Now the Dow Jones just getting up on the day. Precious metals also, not much of a reaction there. Here are the markets that got hit pretty hard: soybeans and cotton. Now there was no specific mention of cotton, and depending on how you want to look at it, speculators are concerned that if soybeans are on the table for tariffs, then it's possible that cotton can be. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is if we're going to see lower possible soybean prices due to these tariffs, will it mean more acres put into cotton? I don't know. I think cotton is just reacting from this. And actually, you'll look here, the weakest market on the day was cotton. Soybeans at the very end of the day were coming back, still closed down, but we're rallying from those low levels. Let's just look at these prices. Cotton down in May, 238 points at 79.64. May cotton got as high early or last night, 82.31, and as low as 78.62. That's a 370-point range from low to high. So that's very volatile. We have July cotton down 227 at 79.73. December cotton down 118 at 76.82. Let's look at soybeans, down 21.5, and May soybeans at 10.16.5 with a high of 10.41 3/4, a low of 9.83.5. That was a 58-cent range from high to low in soybeans. But if you consider a close of 10.16.5, when at one point we were at 10.83.5, that market was coming back. Corn down 7.5 at 3.81, a high of 3.89, a low of 3.72. That's a 17-cent range in corn. Wheat down 1 3/4 at 4.55 3/4, a high of 4.61.5, a low of 4.47. That's a 14.5-cent range. The dollar down 6, crude oil down 28 cents a barrel, gold up $2 an ounce, silver's up 11 cents an ounce, and the Dow Jones down 7. If you had just looked at most of these trades, not soybeans or cotton, you would think this is just a normal day. But once the market got hit hard today, it did enough damage in cotton to cause speculators to start to exit their positions. So they were selling the market as they got out of longs. And once that started happening, cotton had a really hard time dealing with it, even when things started to stabilize. Soybeans, somewhat similar, but soybeans don't feel as bad here toward the end of the day. Look, tomorrow's export sales. Doubtful that any cancellations will take place because these reflect things that happened last week. But that's always the fear that people have, is suddenly you'll see China delivering a statement about other markets by showing cancellations on these export numbers. So that's it. Have a good evening, and we'll talk to you first thing in the morning, and we will have our also tomorrow morning at 7:30 our weekly grain or our weekly market report when we'll look at exports. Have a good evening.